And yes, it's Arena. Alright, so we see a bit of a change in TRP's lineup, where we see instead of Golden End, if I remember correctly, it's Veln, the purple player at this point. And looking for the civilizations, or rather at the civilizations on the arena here, we have Rhaegar as Korean, Forza Delta as Chinese, and Pololoco as Persians. So that's pretty good Asian lineup all around. Interesting, quite well. And Veln is Korean. Luster Soldier is Chinese and Ritiman is Persian. So yep, yet again, a proper mirror. So let's see who is going to develop the game better, their favor. So we are looking at the host yet again. It's Rhaegar, and right now that's probably the pause that we're waiting for in there with the pause and the repeat of the 20-second delay in the game room. And while looking at his stone, that's kind of okay. It's normally placed. The second one right outside the base is also okay. The boar, well, he probably would have been happier if it was inside the base, but well, it's not really all that bad. He does have the gate pretty close, so I kind of guessing that it shouldn't be all that hard to actually lure in, and that should be a skill that every player fighting competitively should know. Second boar so far not visible. Let's see where it is actually. There's a wolf, there's a lot of gold. Oh well, that's literally a lot of gold. 3 golds together with 1 stone, that's very sweet indeed, between him and his teammate Rhaegar, or Forza Delta, so that's not really bad at all for their team. And 1 wall around here is going to secure quite a lot of resources for the potential later game. Looking for the second boar still. It's right inside his base. Okay. And Hunt is also pretty close, so let's see how soon he will actually discover the second boar. Well, pretty soon, because the sheep is going right in the direction, so it shouldn't be any kind of problem for him, and he will be quite happy to learn about that. Also, this is quite sweet for him, 1 extra gold mine at the very back of his base, next to the tree line, so that's going to be very nicely protected for him, no problem whatsoever. And possibly some TCs will be coming into the tree line here, and maybe just next to the gold as well. We have plenty of time to actually introduce all the players, so let's switch into the Forza Delta. Well, he's having a hunt right after the wall, rather behind the wall. That's quite a lot of room for him extra. That's going to be quite welcome, especially for booming and such, because that's going to be very nicely protected overall. And extra gold, even though it's just 2 patches, so 1600 gold, but still better than nothing, I guess. Better than nothing. And with all this gold between them, yeah, this is going to be very sweet starting position. He's also having very nicely positioned the mines inside his base, both gold and stone. And this is Pololoco. Okay, so that's the third from AOESP, so he is playing the pocket as the Chinese, and that should allow him some very nice boom indeed. The boar is inside the base, and the second one also, so yep, that's another reason why he should be very happy about the spawn of his map, and he knows about them from very early, and he will probably not be scouting much more with those 2 sheep. Pololoco, the Persian, is the last one to actually have a look at. And will he be slinging maybe? Well, since he's not a pocket, he might not be. But let's see about that. Usually Persians go for some kind of sling, or they go for the early mythic, or early normal mythic. God damn it, not mythic, Imperial Age. I've just been making too many Age mythology videos lately. In the Imperial for the Paladins, obviously, and well, this is very nice. And even though he had to actually kill the wall here, he didn't really trust himself to go for the boar through the gate. But well, yeah, this time it's going to work very nicely, and he just needs to position either a house here or palisade wall, and he will be pretty safe against potential raiding from his opponents. His gold placement seems to be pretty decent, both of those mines, even though this is kind of in the front. Potentially castle drop around here could deny him, but I don't really think that's going to be happening here from his opponents in this game. And looking at the base, otherwise, yeah, this is just going to be deleted. That's useless overall. Stone very nicely placed, and that's pretty much it for him at this point. We'll be then switching into the Rising Power, and first will be the new player for their team, and that's Veln. And he's having boar inside, Hunt as well. Well, Well, that's pretty nice indeed, even though I'm not really all that happy about this lumber camp, because it's not really ideal. You will have to switch into potentially the right one or the bottom one. Yeah, probably the bottom one, obviously. And this is really suboptimal as it can be, because this tree line is going to be gone in just a matter of minutes, and then yeah, he will have to spend extra resources somewhere else, and it goes also going to mean a bit of a walk-in time. So slightly suboptimal, but at the same time, it's probably not going to be all that much of a problem in this game. So yeah, let's not bash him for this kind of thing, because it's really not going to be having all that much of a huge advantage, or giving all that much of a huge advantage to his opponents, if any whatsoever. Gold nice, stone as well. Otherwise, gold outside his base is between him and his teammate, even though it's kind of open, so definitely not as great as it is between those two guys. This is absolutely, yeah, this is like winning a lottery on Arena. Gold, nice, yeah, we have talked about that. Stone and yet another gold. This is kind of not ideal, because this is on the offensive side towards his opponent, so not really ideal, and he will probably need to drop down center right here pretty soon, and potentially even some kind of castle, because yeah, both of these resources are going to be pretty crucial for him if he wants to do something about the game. Something interesting else in his map? No, not really, so let's have a look at the next player, and it's going to be Luster Soldier. Luster Soldier, he is luring in, and that's the second ball already. He has already butchered the first one, or rather butchered. Stone, or rather gold, is hidden behind the wall here. This is safe, yeah it is. So these walls will be just stored down in a matter of moments. And, well, has he already killed one of those? Oh no, he hasn't. Oh yeah, they were hidden just behind the overlay here. So all four hunts are right here, and kinda close to his mill. So yep, should be very well within his range pretty soon as well. Otherwise, stone at pretty much the same spot, even though one is behind the wall, one is in front of it. And what is slightly unfortunate is that he doesn't have any kind of gate towards his third ally. As he has a pocket, that's kind of unfortunate, and he definitely will want to make some kind of gate around here. And yeah, this is going to make trading all that much more difficult, because obviously they will have to go through all around the forest, and especially, oh well, this is terrible. When you have this horrible patch here, this is going to mean that their trade route is going to be very open to raiding from their opponents and very hard to wall, as he will have to make some kind of Chinese wall from here to here, and yeah, not really all that great overall. So they definitely would have wanted something better from their map. Gold, yep, it's basically going to be the same case as the trade route. And well, the relics are kind of normally positioned. You can see nothing unfair to here. One with AOESP, who has already also destroyed the wall, because there was the boar from the very beginning, and he has already moved also for a quite interesting mill right outside the base. He didn't really want to spend the time of luring and making the deer come closer to his base, so he just opted for this option. And well, it should be working for him, especially on Arena when everybody is going into Fast Castle. Another relic is at the bottom here, and the last one is near the green player, who is the last one to have a look at this point through his point of view. So let's have a look at the Dirty Man. He was booming very nicely in the last game, and right now he's not a pocket, but at the same time we are playing on Arena, so I'm kind of thinking he might be very happy to do something like that yet again. He's trying to lure yeah, the deer in. So far, seems to be at least marginally successful. This hole in the wall is yet again symptomatic for a boar outside the walls, and well, he was kind of unfortunate, or was he? No, he wasn't. Okay, so that's just some extra spawn. I was thinking that maybe it could have been his unusual spawn of the berry outside of his base, and that's not really the case, and he is pretty safe. Stone mine nicely positioned, and do we see the gold? Oh well, I don't see the gold yet. So it's going to be somewhere hidden, so let's take the guess. I'm saying it's here. And well, I'm wrong. I'm wrong, but well, how did you get here? Probably through the hole in the wall, but that's really curious. But he's going to be given some nice, very nice line of sight onto his opponents. And yep, we see Green actually positioned here, and flaring that he is well aware that yellow guy is right in there. So is maybe Red going to attack him? Oh well, he was, but he didn't take the first shot, so he's going to die. And he needs to retreat, and he needs to wait for the green one. And the green one is at this point busy with trying to make sure that those deer are listening, which they aren't at all. So maybe right now he will be just giving up on that and going to help his teammate. But he still does have quite a lot of time. And not sure though that he has time enough to actually have fun with all those hard-headed deer, and at the same time getting rid of the guy so that he doesn't see what he's doing. Barracks being dropped for him. And where's the gold then? Ah, on the very left, with some extra sheep, so he will be very interested in those once he finds them. And well, the second goal is outside of his base, so not really ideal. And really, as we have said, this is going to be a very crucial point for AOESP to actually take control of. And right now they are scouting here with Rhaegar, and he should be having a pretty good line of sight on, yeah, the bad luck that the TRPs are actually having at this point. Yeah, he should be discovering red, or will he be missing him? Oh well, he's actually just missing him. And right now, not. Okay, so right now he knows where he is, and it's unfortunate for him that he didn't finish actually the scouting here, because he would have known that the position is really pretty horrible, and this would be a crucial point in the game for them. So first advance into the feudal age has been happening from all of the players right there, and this is actually the last one, so Rhaegar is opting for a slightly later advance, even though he's having pretty much the same villagers as his opponents, but since the opponents are building them after the advance, Teal should be having slightly better echo than them. Stable being dropped, and blacksmith, well of course, because everybody is going to go for castle age, and the first one is blue, that's the pocket Chinese from the AOESP. Is it looking with someone else? Pretty man is also advancing, and that is the Persian. Hello, no, I am from Czech Republic, but well, that's basically similar. Both Slavic languages, pretty similar indeed, and with the heavy R. So yeah, you can definitely hear that accent in there. Unfortunately, not a skilled speaker, so to eliminate it properly. Even though I would love to, yeah, it's still going to take quite some time for me to achieve that. Like literally everybody is having holes in their walls right there, and he's actually having a double one. Not really sure why he went for the second hole in the wall here. Not exactly really sure, because I'm thinking that he did have the second board inside. Not exactly sure. He did have one outside. He did have one outside. I'm not sure if the second one was here, but I was kind of thinking not. I'm not really sure what this is about, but well, we will see that in the potential recorded game. Something interesting somewhere else? Well, this is just a red scout together with a purple one, and yellow, has he scouted enough in here? Let's have a look. He has already died. We have seen that. And Polo Loco, that's yellow here. Fog of War. And he actually sees a pretty decent portion of the base here, right next to the TC. So this is basically the most important that he needs to know, the lay of the land here, because when he goes for potential attack with some castle drop or whatever, he will need to know how the buildings are positioned here. And he right now knows that there is something like the barracks and the stables there together with the TC. Everybody advancing into the castle age with wheelbarrow for Forza Delta already, as he's already in the castle with 30 men as well. I'm going to switch, for example, into Drithiman if he's maybe be slunk or whatever. Check the achievements. No, we are not playing with any kind of sling. So this is just all waiting for what is going to happen, and blue is the first one to drop something similar to some kind of military building. And yeah, this is slightly unfortunate for him, as you can see on those goat villagers. He was having a bit of a bad pathing, and yep, they were not gathering for like at least 10 or 50 seconds, so slightly slower economy for him, but I don't really think it should be all that much crucial. He's using this monk for potentially go for extra relics. Is that the case, or is he monk whatever? Well, not really monk rushing, but maybe some kind of strategy against knights could be really working out, because obviously that's something you want to do. And yellow is also having monastery, whereas green as well. And here we go, some first And unfortunately, Monk trying to convert Scout Cavalry, that's not really a great idea. And obviously he paid with his life for that, and that's not really something he wanted, as he was probably moving for one of the relics near the opponent's bases. And yep, right now he has just basically wasted all his gold for this one guy, and he needs to use the second one for something slightly better if he wants to do something substantial in the game so far. Yep, first relic right now being captured by Drittiman, and that's going to be successfully driven in, because obviously there's absolutely no one that would be catching him up. Maybe Fuerzerelda would be, but he is at this point really interested in the Drittiman scout, so the Drittiman is really right now taking care of both things at the same time. And looking at the TCs, we have 3 TCs at this point for green, for a Persian. How's he looking for the Persian on the other team? That's yellow. He is having 1, 2, 3 TCs as well. And then blue is having how many TCs? 1. So far just 2. So far just 2 TCs. Let's switch into Fuerzerelta. What is his play at this point? He is not really having enough echo for potential faster advance into castle, so it's of Imperial. So we are probably just waiting for the 30C to come up anytime soon, but I'm kinda surprised that he's still at 2, because he was the first one to advance into Castle Age. So maybe we would have expected something extra from him, but that's not happening. And who is the other Chinese from the other team? That's Lustre Soldier, also Pocket. And he's having 3 TCs, maybe thinking about 4 somewhere. Not yet. Still just 3, but he's having a kind of limited space in his base, I have to say. So he might be really forced to go outside of the walls pretty soon, as really his room in his base is quite limited, and he won't be able to support all that much more, I'm kind of afraid. Still not gathering any stone at this point. He's probably not going to be having all that much of it for even the TCs. Yeah, he has at a complete 0 at this point. And I hear somebody, some scout hitting something somewhere. Ah yeah, that was these 2 scouts. And okay, yeah, this is right now a pretty nice fight, especially because the monk right now is behind the wall, so he can either heal or try to convert even the scout cavalry, which is a direct counter to him. The last player to have a look at for proper economy is purple. Or rather, next to last from the TRPs, that's Vel. He's also having 3 TC boom, also, well, also, he's going for quite a decent amount of stone at this point, and well, he should be going for extra TC maybe, or maybe even a castle drop somewhere. He is at pretty decent amount of stone, so he's probably going for a castle, and he already did make one. And well, this is going to be the first battle here, it seems like, between Rhaegar and Vel, but it's still going to take quite some time. Rhaegar is having a pretty decent army of monks at this point, but not exactly sure if it's going to work out against an army of war wagons, but still, Vel will have to actually pick up the game, because if he doesn't, those 2 war chariots, or rather war wagons, are definitely not going to be enough against this host of guys, especially with this very nice army of veteran rams. And yep, that's a Korean against a Korean, so let's see how this battle will develop. I'm kinda thinking that I know already, because if those guys are going for them, yeah, there's going to be a pretty nasty surprise. And because he doesn't know about those monks, yep, he doesn't know, and yep, this is going to be 3 villagers for Teal. Very nice job indeed, and that was very sneaky from Rhaegar, and very nicely played indeed, I have to say. Really, really well played, because right now Purple doesn't have anything at all to deal with this, because obviously, yeah, ranged damage from these guys is not exactly what is going to take down any kind of battering rams. And yeah, well, right now saying that he's not okay. And he definitely isn't, especially when he's so far being all the more converted at this point. And well, here we go. Yeah, that's a pretty good counter to those war wagons, this Mangonel, and with some good shots, he should be there. And castle is down, which is pretty bad news. And he will be probably building the second one inside his base. Right now, dropping at least Siege Workshop and yet another TC. So yeah, it's a 4 TC. And I'm kinda thinking that once he gets enough stone, there's going to be another castle for him, because he really needs it. But right now, he needs to do something about those guys. Potentially some Mangonels. Yeah, Mangonel is right now here. And barracks, so not exactly sure what he hopes to do with barracks, but probably just building them so that he can actually switch into potentially a scout cavalry or knights or something like that. Yep, another castle right here, and I'm kinda afraid for him because he might be way too late, as he doesn't have enough army or even villagers against all this. Those two war wagons are quite a huge help, and the supreme power of those monks, yep, that's definitely going to help. Let's see about the castle, if it's going to do something substantial. Looking somewhere else on the map, I don't really see any extra fights or anything happening anywhere else. Just what's interesting, if you look at the green, Pretty Man, he is doing something in the middle of the map near blue. So once this is somehow developing, I'm going to switch there. But yeah, this is really looking pretty great right now for Teal, who is right now killing the Mangonel, who is a bit of a problem. But second one, it will be up pretty soon and could be helping with those battering rams. Well, those two will definitely die if he gets in a pretty good shot. So that might be... Yeah, he will be pretty safe, and right now you can see that Teal is forced to retreat because he doesn't have enough, but he would do pretty well if he drops some kind of castle here. Let's switch into Rhaegar to have a look if he has enough resources. He has 590, 600, so yeah, he's probably thinking about it, and if he drops a castle exactly at the spot where Valence was, that's going to help him quite immensely. So let's have a look what blue, or rather what green is doing, and he definitely is thinking about some kind of aggression against his opponent on there. Oh yep, this is his workshop from the Persian, and well, blue is though pretty nicely defending. He's having yet another TC outside of his base, and he's right now thinking that he can defend this kind of swath, which is pretty important for him and his team overall. He's also advancing into Imperial Age, and as a Chinese, that's probably going to result in a lot of Chugonos, and they are going to be quite deadly. So I'm kind of hoping for Dritiman at this point that he will be ready with his paladins against that. So far though, it doesn't really seem so, as he's not really advancing into Imperial Age himself. I'm going to switch into him if he's at least having resources. Oh well, nowhere near. Nowhere near. So I'm kinda not optimistic about his outlook at this point. And even though he's going for university and some extra upgrades for his siege, yeah, he's probably going to backfire when he learns that for Zarelta is going to be in Imperial Age pretty soon. Yellow doing something interesting, no, not much. He's just going to slightly harass his opponent on the left, maybe. Not exactly sure what he hopes to do with one monk and one scout cavalry, but that's about it, about the army that he has. And he's still happily booming, and he is at still 3 TCs. Let's have a look at his economy. Oh well, that's pretty decent. Okay, so that's going to be Imperial Age pretty soon for him, and he will be jumping on Dritiman pretty soon, I kinda guess, once he advances into his mythical age. Oh well, Imperial Age, of course. 4 TCs for yellow, or rather red, that's pretty decent. And he's already preparing right inside his base. It's kind of, well, too defensive, I would say. Not exactly sure how he hopes to help his teammates when he's having all that much walk time between his home base and actually the battlefield right here or on the right side. But well, that's his decision to make, and hopefully it's going to work out for his team. Castle is right now being dropped slightly off the position that Purple was having. He's probably hoping to buy some extra position, especially he wants to better cover this hole in the wall and also basically deny the opponent of any ability to actually fill it up. So yeah, not bad idea, and could actually work out better than what I have been suggesting slightly earlier. But still, the situation is that Purple is not having any kind of army whatsoever. He's still having just a few Mangonas at this point, and come on, just as I say it, he actually deletes the foundations and places it right, yeah, where I said. And okay, so in the end, it might be the better option. And well, both of those, I kind of think that they had some kind of extra advantage going for them. Well, Dretiman is right now saying that castle is being dropped, and well, yeah, it definitely is. And he himself, he's really preparing for some kind of attack. He's right now building houses and dropping castle himself. Okay, so that was what he was talking about. And he might be in time, especially when he's advancing into Imperial Age at this point also. So when I was looking in his base, it was actually not registering yet, but he was already clicking in. So yeah, sorry about that. That was like misinformation on my part. And he's not exactly far behind Fuerza Delta, and might be quite well in his way, actually, in disrupting the army or whatever economy that blue has, because he's really at this point running pretty risky economy, having literally a ton of villies outside of his base, being protected just by the TC and castle, which might be enough, but considering that Rittiman is already preparing with some kind of army with those siege workshops and castle himself, well, that might really work out for him. And well, this castle will be faster for Drittiman, but not really by fast, not really by much, because blue is having quite a decent amount of villages there, and even though it will be up, this blue will be up as well, so I don't really think that this castle will be able to take care of that. What's also pretty important to say at this point is that red is joining, and unfortunately for TRPs, oh well, this monk shouldn't have come here, and this villagers either, because this basically gave up what's happening here. And well, yep, it's not going to be a surprise anymore, but with the castle done, I'm not exactly thinking that, yeah, they need to worry about it all that much, but they also should be happy that they actually denied the blue villagers from coming into offensive, as they were quite probably going for some very sticky build, maybe somewhere here. And yep, you can see that the bad map spawn is right now being compensated by Drittiman's TC outside of his base, and the same goes for Luster Soldier, because he really doesn't have all that much room in his base anymore. Yeah, he's pretty much out of it. So far it seems like that Rhaegar is right now waiting for potentially his own Imperial Age and doing something else in there, because right now he's not doing anything. And unfortunately for him, oh well, that's unfortunate, really indeed overall, because he has allowed purple to finish the wall, and yep, this means that he will have to make yet another hole inside to arrest his opponent. So far though, he is doing pretty good job of stealing the stone here. And something else, oh well, yellow is doing a pretty nice build at the very bottom, so it seems like that he is at this point fully aiming for some cavalry archers. I would kinda guess so, that would be probably what he will do. And with some extra siege workshop and the castle hero for the trebuchets, he will be knocking at the doors of green pretty soon, and he might be forced actually to retreat from the attack. And I kinda think this is the strategy at this point for AOESP, because TRPs are definitely having an advantage in the middle through the double of green together with red, and red is just waiting here with the halberdiers for the potential horses to come. But will they come? Well, blue is going for Chukonos, well that's kinda obvious when he's Imperial Age Chinese. Teal is still very preoccupied with his opponent purple, and going for some war chariots, war wagons, god damn it. Still Age of Mythology mind in here. And yellow is very intent on going for hand cannoneers. Okay, so not cavalry archers, but hand cannoneers. That's quite interesting indeed, and he will definitely be aiming to wreck his opponent very soon. And he's already working on it through building, or rather through breaking through this wall and building yet another castle to prevent green from gathering gold. That's a very nicely placed castle, and definitely one that will help quite immensely to throttle the Rittiman's army whatsoever, and economy especially. Blue is so far quite successfully defending. He has taken down the castle from green, who is right now in a bit of a pickle because he doesn't have all that much of a production, if we see things correctly. And he also needs to be worried about what's happening inside his base. He's right now switching, as a Persian should, into the stables here. But that's kinda way too late, even though he's probably going for paladins pretty soon. Yeah, he's basically saving resources for that. You can see the 1,000 of food and quite a lot of gold as well. But will it be really good enough? Not really sure, because red needs to go back, especially because green is not helping at all. And well, those Chukanos are, with the double castle, are just wrecking them, and they cannot just be losing units like that needlessly. They need to be more careful TRPs if they want to do something about that. Oh well, Halcyon Silencieux Fire, maybe. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Feel free to correct me. And well, yeah, yellow is finally through the gates here, or rather through the wall, just next to, thanks to the castle fire here, and he is having enough siege together with enough units to disrupt green altogether. Yeah, right now green doesn't have any kind of defense at all. He's literally having nothing, just building stables at this point, which is way too late when his main TC is done. And yeah, archery range is being dropped right inside his base. I'm not thinking that green will be able to amass enough knights or cavaliers right now to defend against this kind of onslaught, because it's pretty strong, and those two trebuchets with those bombard cannons and the hand cannoneers are just wrecking absolutely everything and putting his economy in very hard shambles. You can see that he's right now at 95 Phillies, which is like 20 or 30 or even 40 less than the other players, and that's pretty horrible at this point. Deal at the same time is taking things very slowly. He's not really aiming to go head first into the wall here. Pretty good economy and very filled base, and I don't still see any kind of army from from purple. This is why, because he was building in between him and his allies, so he was kind of hoping that he can probably protect his allies as well, but right now he will be very happy if he can protect just himself. Having triple mangonels and building halberdiers, it's a pretty good idea against those war wagons, but is it going to be enough? Well, we'll see soon enough. Right next to the base of Blue, we see the battle developing. Slowly but surely, Blue is eating inside in his opponents, because he is dropping yet another castle, having 3 castles together with this mass of elite Chukonus. Well, not elites, but soon to be, because they have been researched. Those Chukonus are doing a pretty good job in defending, and really, Red doesn't have anything to do against that, because Albergiers are not an army that can deal with this much, with those much arrows, and he needs some help from his teammate Rittiman, and this is exactly what is going to happen pretty soon. He should probably outmaneuver somewhere else, but let's see if he will, or if he will go inside his base and somehow try to protect it, because it's absolutely wrecked, and it seems like that he's not really interested in that all that much, but he is preparing at least a bit of army there, but will it be enough? I'm kind of thinking that I don't know. Especially when right now Red is helping him. It could be working out, because it's not like Yellow is having all that much of an army. It's not bad, it would be killing all those 8 knights at this point, or cavaliers, but with those Chukonos in there, this could be pretty decent army against them, and it might be able to wreck them quite substantially, especially if they time things right and attack at the same spot. So let's see if that's going to happen. Right now, Drittiman is just basically getting wrecked on the villagers here, just dropping to 50. Wow. Oh wow, that's absolutely horrible for him. He's basically out of the game at this point. And well, unfortunately, it didn't really work out for them, as it seems like that Pololoko just noticed that there is something hidden in there, and right now, let's see if they can handle this together with Red. They should be able to kill those trebuchets. But in the meantime, once they are actually spending time here next to the trebuchet, that's probably going to be it. And goodbye knights, and okay, especially with extra monk here, stealing the unit here, not good enough, and Yellow, or rather Red, has to be sending all of the army that he can inside, because Yellow has basically camped inside the opponent's base, and well, Red is right now doing a pretty good job though, because he's basically abandoned his attempts in the base, in the forefront, and this also means that Fuerza Delta will be able to kill whatever is here, as right now he's just killing all those cavaliers, and I'm kinda thinking that Green should be giving up on this fight and redirect all his resources inside his base and try to protect and help with the Red teammate and try to put his opponent out of this position whatsoever. Persian is also switching into elephants, which is interesting. He has lost the castle here, as Red is playing really well at this point and is really crucial for the game overall, but he needs to move somewhere for the gold, otherwise he's going to run out of resources, as they are not trading at all. And even though, oh well, wow, 3,500 gold, really? Well, you need to move somewhere else and get, for example, this gold, but really, you need to do something. You don't really want to wait for the position when you lose the last gold, and then you will not be able to build absolutely anything at all. Teal has broken through the walls on purple side, and he might be needing some extra help from his ally Red as well, but it doesn't need to be all that much decisive at this point, even though Teal is switching into pretty good army with a lot of hussars, who are a pretty nice idea against some kind of siege like mangonels and the bombard cannons, but is it going to be enough against the host of halberdiers? Because right now I'm kinda thinking that TRP well is building just halberdiers. Yeah, he definitely is, and not anything else at all, and maybe a bit of a mangonels, but that's not really going to work all that nicely at this point. Because he's right now being controlled and push out the gold on this side, and another castle is being dropped by Rhaegar, and Rhaegar is definitely meaning business here and taking down the main TC from purple, and at this point, if he can't properly finish with those trebuchets, he might be in a bit of a pickle. Unfortunately both dead, but still here we have the bombard cannon, And he take care of them. Yeah, and one is dead. But that's probably going to be it. And that was pretty good headshot into 3 of those. And yeah, that wasn't half bad. And with some good shot with salt, got it. Sorry. With the good shots of the Mangonel, he should be still pretty happy about things developing here, but the switch into Red Cannoneers is a definite answer to those Halberdiers, and yep, Purple will have to switch it to something else. The forward base is pretty much leveled, even though Red is not really giving up and he's still trying to maintain the position at least somehow, but he can't really fight against Blue here. And yep, inside the base of Green, that was decided a lot earlier than here. And since Red cannot really fight on both fronts at the same time, this is GG. And yep, here we see that Yellow has been able to overpower his opponent altogether, and Red, yeah, you just can't fight two fronts at the same time. So very well played, and AOESP are winning the match 2-0. Well, pretty nice job indeed. He was even switching into bombard towers. So yep, Luster Soldier, even though he was having a pretty horrible game last time around, because he was thrashed by Pololoco pretty heavily. In here, yeah, he was playing the best. Playing really well indeed. But it wasn't enough, as AOESPs were slightly better. Let's have a look at the achievements. With Fuerza Delta being the most powerful guy as a pocket, that's kinda expected. And Luster Soldier, yeah, he wasn't really far behind. Just 209. That's really close. But the game was basically lost when Dritiman was absolutely leveled by Pololoco. And that was a very nice one, and fortunately for TRPs, they probably thought that they could push through the middle faster, then they would lose the base of Green, but yeah, that wasn't really the case as we could have seen. Alright, GG then.